Good afternoon, everybody. And today we're going to learn about accurate pipetting with me, Luke D, in a video called Accurate Pipetting with Luke D. So, um, first things first, why are we doing this? This isn't normally pipetting, so it's not when we're just going from one tube to another. This is pipetting where we have to do an extremely small volume in a very small place. In the case of the nanodrop, for example, we have to get 1 microliter sample onto this tiny little pedestal. Or in the case of a gel where we're trying to get 15 to 20 microliters, maybe even more, 50 microliters in a very, very small space. So in that situation where we're talking about a space like that. So there's going to be basically 3 points of stabilization that we're going to worry about. We're going to worry about the end of the pipette, our elbows, and our hips. So starting at the bottom. There's 2 ways to stabilize your hips, and depending on what you need to look at, it kind of will determine how you do it. So in the case of a nanodrop where I'm kind of like looking at something in a horizontal view, I generally prefer sitting, and that stabilizes my hip. In a case of gel where I need to look down, I generally think it's best to go ahead and just kind of form a triangle with your legs, and that's going to stabilize my hips. So let's do the nanodrop first. So, as always, when we're pipetting and using a nanodrop, you're going to want to make sure that you have sterile tips. We're going to make sure that we have a dump beaker. And in the case of a nanodrop, we're also going to make sure that we have sterile water. Okay, so I like to do kind of a little triangle thing right before I go, so that makes me know that I can access this. So here we go. We're going to go, let's say, double-stranded DNA analysis. So the nanodrop is now set up. Okay, great. So I'm going to use a BioHit 1 or 10, sorry. So I stabilize my hips. I grab my tip. And unlike normal pipetting where I would normally hold my tube in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and leave the tube on the desk here. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I come up real slowly. 1, 2, 3 with my pipette. Okay, so both my elbows are on the table. I formed a triangle with my hands, as you can see. And now I'm going to move my finger down to the end of the pipette, right above the tip. Not on the tip, but right above the tip. If I am touching the tip, I'm going to interfere with the volume that I'm pipetting. And here we go. I generally do this on an exhale. And there you go. So it's a slightly different for loading a gel, and I'm going to show you that here. Again, I'm going to make sure that I have my tips. In this case, I'm going to use a P20 to do a volume of 20 microliters. I have my sample, I have my dump beaker, and I have what I'm going to go into. My area is clean. Okay, so that means I can open up my tips. I'm going to grab my P20. Alright, it's set to 20. Cool. I go ahead and grab my tip, pop my tube, come up counting 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I stand over my sample. Okay, so my legs are straight, so I'm really taking any bounce out of my knees and legs. My elbows are both on the table. I've got the triangle going with my hands. I stabilize the bottom of my pipette. I'm now looking over my gel. One, 2, 3, and I've got a good gel loading. Don't be surprised if you see a shake. The one thing you can do if you see a shake, stop what you're doing, shake your arms out, take a deep breath, go for a run, and your shake should decrease. Don't eat something high in sugar or caffeinated right before you're pipetting accurately. I highly recommend having an experiment day diet, and that's just something low in sugar with no caffeine in it. Seems to work pretty well. I hope you enjoyed pipetting accurately with Luke D. Love your neighbor. I don't know. Have a good day. Bye.